If you have a child that's being bullied, you might be asking yourself the question, should I teach them how to fight? And in this video, I'm going to answer it, and I'm going to give you some data and some proof to help back it up. Plus, one of the most common questions I get from parents is, won't teaching my child how to fight make them fight more? And I'll answer that one too. So let's do this. Kevin Daniels here with Bullied Defense 101. And when it comes to the question, should I teach my child how to fight? You got to look at it from their eyes. In the US, 1 out of 3 middle schoolers is attacked every year physically hit, pushed, kicked, or slapped every year. So if your child goes to school with 2 buddies, most likely one of them is getting physically assaulted, physically attacked by a bully. Globally, it's just as bad. The United Nations reports that almost 33% of all children globally are physically assaulted by a bully. It happens, and when it happens, you can't control it. If a bully decides to attack physically, your child doesn't have a choice. They don't have an option. So, should I teach my child how to fight? Let me give you some data. Gregory Moody published a study where he found that kids who knew martial arts received up to 64% less bullying than kids that don't know martial arts. It's proven and it works. Even beginners who had just 2 months of training received significantly less bullying than kids that had no martial art training. So if it works for them, it can work for you. Plus, there was another study by Karen Healy and the University of Queensland, Australia, and they found out there's basically 3 types of victims to bullies out there. There's, and I'll paraphrase, there's number 1, the pacifist. And in this case, the pacifist is a negative term. The pacifist basically shrivels up or crumples down and just lets the bully beat on them, and they don't fight back at all. The problem with this is the bully learns that they can attack this child and beat them up, and there's no consequences to the bully. The bully pays no price. There's no repercussions. So the bully can come back the next day and do it again, and then the next day after that, and again, and on and on. And then there's number 2, the kid that does fight back, but they have no training, they have no skills, and they end up getting beat up by the bully too. Because you got to remember that usually the bully is bigger and stronger, and you know what, they've had training in this, they've done this before. So again, the person that fights back but has no skills ends up getting beat up by the bully too. And then the bully has no repercussions, no consequences, no major damage done to the bully, so they can come back the next day and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And then there's number 3, the kid that fights back against the bully, that is trained, that does have skills, and they fight back effectively. And the bully learns immediately that they can't pick on this person and get away with it scot-free, and they stop bullying that person. So, should you teach your child how to fight? Yes, absolutely. And one of the most common questions I get is, if I teach my child how to fight, won't they fight more? And the answer is quite the opposite. It's no. They end up fighting less. Like I said, up to 64% less bullying because they know self-defense or they know martial arts. One last thing, and it comes down to confidence. Confidence can stop a bully fight before it even starts because the bully doesn't want to pick a fight. The bully wants to pick on someone they think won't fight back. He or she wants an easy target. So if they see a confident kid in front of them, most likely they're going to move on to go find an easier target somewhere else. And nothing builds confidence like learning self-defense. So I shot that video, but I think I left out the most important part, and that's what learning self-defense has done for me and my confidence. You know, when I was a kid, I had absolutely no self-confidence, no self-esteem. I was totally socially awkward. I was a loner. I felt like a total loser. I was so shy, I couldn't approach people or start conversations or make new friends. And I hated that about myself. That lack of self-confidence was crushing me. But beyond that, I was afraid physically of others, of getting beat up pretty much all my life, walking around scared of my own shadow. And finally, I had enough. And I started working on my self-confidence. I started doing research in late middle school and high school on ways to grow my self-confidence. And I started using everything I could. Mentally, I started using visualization, using journaling. I was using goal setting and setting challenges for myself. Verbally, I was using mantras. I was using affirmations. And physically, I was trying to walk like a wolf, using the walk like a wolf technique. I was using power poses. I was using power moves. And it helped. All that stuff. I started taking massive action, and it actually started changing me from the inside out. And I started to become more outgoing and more confident in myself. But it took years to figure out how to get there. But of all the ways I used to grow my self-confidence, nothing worked as good as learning self-defense. Nothing helped bolster my self-esteem and push my confidence up than learning self-defense. It was the best technique that I used. But I wish I had learned self-defense when I was young and I could have used this stuff. I wish I had known this when I was a kid in school getting bullied. It could have changed everything. And if you have a child that has low self-confidence or low self-esteem, or if you have a child that's getting bullied, whether mentally, verbally, or physically, get them into self-defense today. There is probably nothing better you could do for their self-confidence. And self-confidence is the best gift you could ever give your child. All right, I got to put it in a practice challenge for you. Sometime today, get with your champ and sit down and ask them if they'd like to learn self-defense or martial arts. And if they do, maybe spend a little time looking at some of the local studios, self-defense studios around you and see what their interest is. And if they'd like to, go visit a few of these schools, because usually you can get a couple free sessions at any school that you go to. Usually they'll offer a couple of free classes. So have your champ try a couple out. And I'll give you one other tip. If you go into a place that makes your child feel intimidated or they feel uneasy or anxious there, that's not the right studio for you. But if you find a place that your kid feels comfortable and they think it looks fun and something they'd like to do, then that's the perfect place to go. All right, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being the kind of parent that's there for your child. The fact that you're doing research and trying to find tips and tools for them, you're the kind of parent that makes a difference. So go make it a great day. And if you like this video, hit the like button, consider subscribing, and please feel free to share it with another parent that you think it might be able to help out. Go make it a great day.